had for us yesterday. We were really nervous. We were both feeling nervous, and you guys were wonderful. So we appreciate you for that, and being with us and being sweet through awkwardness and cuteness.
Last night, News came over and teased us about all the things we said and did.
No, you guys are being sweet.
It was fun.
You guys are being sweet because I said it's a tough situation for a couple of reasons. First, team teaching. That's really hard to do. Second, you're kind of having to be a sub. A sub, it's a hard position because you don't know this bad hotspots, relationships. Three, one of the hardest parts, which is why I asked them to come in because they can be so good at it, is they weren't talking about the Civil War, they weren't talking about English, they were talking about how to talk, how to communicate. So they're trying to communicate how to communicate, not just the content, but they were having to be kind of and role model that as we're talking about that. That can be pretty tough. So let's be aware of that as we move forward. And so we were laughing about it and saying what's real and laughing, and it was good. And I'm definitely appreciating them because that's one of the skills to say and practice that just as they did to you. So now we're really excited to move forward.
And you will get a chance to practice later on. So we will share the joy, share the anxiety. So.
And I know we both just want to celebrate everybody in here for being in this process and engaging in this process of becoming more self-aware and becoming more aware of your communities and your worlds. And I'll celebrate that any day. And so thank you for engaging in that. That's very dear to both of our hearts. Well, we were one. I know I kind of dismissed you guys before I dismissed Noose's class yesterday. Before we really got a chance to work on setting you guys up for today and wanting you to do a little practice on what was the 7 keys. So what we kind of want to do is at your tables is for you guys to take maybe 5 to 10 minutes and just kind of talk with each other about how you used that last night, maybe today, maybe, you know, as we were getting together, practicing a little bit. We wanted you to go over how you could use a couple of those keys, maybe in situations that you wouldn't normally, just practicing that, and then also coming up with a couple different scenarios of when that would not be a good idea, or maybe an inappropriate way to use those. So if you can get your papers out that we gave you yesterday, if somebody doesn't have one, please share.
So, in the small groups, just any storytelling based on if they've used these practices last night, how that went, and or if they practiced today. And then just as a group, where could these really be helpful in different parts of your life in this class and your relationship? But then also, where might they be inappropriate and so forth? Have some fun with it in small groups.
Or anybody practiced it with them, or anybody who said any of these things to them, even people not in this class, how did they feel?
Okay. Like what?
The key of the one we're hearing you say that, we're going to talk a little bit more about that. And we'll play a little bit, and then we're going to talk about, I hear you and I have a different perspective. We'll talk about those two keys a little bit, and then we're going to do an activity where everybody gets a chance to do it. Yeah. Good.
Do you want to leave out?
Okay.
Sorry, more.
One of the things that's really important is before we could say, hearing you say that, or when you did that, this is what I feel, we have to be aware of our own feelings. And often we're not very aware of our feelings, and either we withdraw because we have all these mixed up feelings and we don't know what we have, but we know we're uncomfortable, or we project it out as anger. Well, you know, somebody walks by us and we say hi to them and they don't say hi to us, and then we see them next time and say, well, boy, you were sure stuck up today, or, you know, what's wrong with you? Rather than, I was kind of confused, you know, or did you hear me? I mean, rather than like, I feel sad or confused, or we project out the anger on the other person. Or if we say, I'd like you to go with me, could you go to a movie tonight? And they say, well, no, I don't think I can.
So instead of taking responsibility for our emotions and for our feelings, you know, we tend to maybe blame the victim and sort of, you know, and you'll see that in different situations. You know, in your experiences, maybe at a homeless shelter or whatever, you'll see that tendency to blame victims.
Rather than us feeling our own sadness. Or
yeah, because we don't want to be sad for them or think maybe that could happen to us. And so therefore, just a lot of complicated things going with that. And we'll talk a little bit more about that, but we want to first do a little exercise where we all close our eyes and we've circled a few that we want to go through. And Cheryl's going to go first with the first one, but we want to just have you guys close your eyes and feel the different emotions and pay attention to what it feels like in your body. Like if you feel certain sensations, maybe you get knotted in your stomach, maybe you feel hot, maybe you feel, you know, this or that. But we're going to go ahead and start with those. So if you guys can all close your eyes for us. I'm going to say the words and give you a minute to feel them.
I feel afraid.
I feel resentful.
I feel open.
I feel numb. I feel shut down.
I feel anxious and nervous.
I feel furious.
I feel happy.
I feel hurt.
Okay, that's good. I appreciate that you're willing to do that. You know, this is just a list of some feelings, and there's more in the book, because I think often, too, we only use a few feeling words, and I think that, I mean, this is a stereotype, it's not always true, but I think women tend to use words of sadness and hurt more, and sometimes men use anger a little bit more, but both of those, but the more variations, irritated is different than furious, and sad is different than depressed, and confused, so different emotions. And to be aware, do any of you want to share, could you feel any of that in your body, or was there any differences? Yeah.
I mean, there definitely was. It just is like, yeah, it's kind of like a movement. Like, I don't know, it's like it moves through you for sure. And then, like, one thing that kind of experience where I felt resentful, or back to certain experiences where I felt really afraid, or, you know.
Because the word without an experience is just letters put together.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, we were just saying, and yeah, so you thought of specific experiences when you felt that.
Yeah, because it felt more when I thought.
Right, just hearing the word, right.
Yeah.
And with I did the same thing with the experiences, and like adding on to that, I would think of emotions that would happen with similar situations that would occur. I would think of more than one for each, and then realize this happens every time. And like I was able to figure out the difference and all the different feelings that go with each emotion.
And like sometimes, like I withdraw and I don't realize, for a while whether I'm sad or I'm hurt or I'm angry. I mean, it can be a combination, and sometimes it can take a little while to figure out why I'm having that behavior. Back on the defenses, personal defenses and then societal defenses, we just thought of some examples, like, say you're working with someone homeless or someone that has cancer. I mean, we might have feared that we could get cancer, so I think we have sometimes a tendency to like, well, maybe they didn't have a good diet, or maybe they don't really want to, what?
They smoke cigarettes.
Right.
Like, I don't smoke cigarettes, so I won't get cancer.
Right. Rather than, well, I'm really sad. I mean, to just even let ourselves feel sad. And I think that, when there's so much overload of bad news on the television, that we've gotten desensitized, and so